Mostly just like exposure of the program, because the program that of the Gilman program, it's not an institution specific program. It is like anybody who's in any sort of academia is eligible for the program so long as they are on financial aid. That being said, anybody who goes to community college has the option to get win this scholarship, which is incredible because as far as study abroad scholarships go, there's not a lot of options for community college students. I can speak for myself because I graduated from community college before I transferred to university, and so there wasn't a lot of options, and the Gilman was pretty much the only one and the best one. So the idea is just to kind of say, hey, look, this is something that's really possible and that is really attainable. And so we want to have educators and people who are involved in the community college academia to be able to know about the Gilman so they can spread that to their students. 2 weeks minimum, but it can be up to like a full semester or even a full year. The program, like the maximum you can get up to $5,000 for a specific program. But if you're going to study a language, and it's one of the 14 languages that the U.S. Department of State has deemed a critical language, you can receive an additional $3,000 in funding. So I did a semester in Japan, ultimately completely covered because I won the full $8,000 as far as a few other scholarships that I got. Yeah, it doesn't have a necessary limit or minimum. The only minimum is that it has to be at least more than 2 weeks. Yeah, well, travel is crazy important. I mean, I think I mentioned earlier, I split my time growing up between Hawaii and Kansas City just because my father's my adopted father and he's Filipino, so he was born and raised. So like that just from a young age, I had a pretty big exposure to night and day culture. The culture of his Filipino family and what they did in Hawaii was completely different from like the suburbs of Kansas. And so I think that type of exposure is extremely important. It really, expands your mind, expands your views, and kind of gives you this sense that people are people. When I was in Japan, one of the most incredible moments I had is when I realized that my friends in Japan, even though we barely spoke the same language, we were making the same types of jokes that I make with my friends back home. And that was just a really impactful and powerful experience. And so I believe it's just super important for people to be able to have that kind of exposure. And the reality of it is it's not easy. It's a little expensive. And so I am really honored to be able to support a program like this that makes it possible for students to be able to do that, especially needs-based students. They believe in that. That's why they make it so accessible. They make it a program that you can get in community college, make it a program that's for needs-based students. And since it's a federal state-funded program, they work with the U.S. Department of State, and they work with all kinds of different internal government programs that support travel. And so we have connections to the Fulbright, we have connections to the CLS scholarship, and so it's kind of like a gateway into this whole realm of being able to be international and be able to study abroad. So I think it's easy to say that it's extremely important to them. It's extremely important that they equip a generation of younger people who are well-traveled, who have a wide range of views, and who are willing to put themselves in situations that are hard for the betterment of everyone.